Hey folks, it's been a long time since we've had a couch video, and I think it's time for us to do a little catching up. I want to revisit what the purpose of the couch videos is. I started doing these some time ago because I thought social media tends to be pretty negative. And when I first got on Facebook, for example, a long time ago, I really thought this is a great way to keep in touch with people and see cute pictures of fat babies and puppy dogs. And then Facebook has turned into, you know what it's turned into, pretty much all social media. And so I thought if I can inject some positivity, lighthearted, it shifted just a little bit as I started thinking about how I could use it to further my business as a real estate agent and get people thinking about home. What do we think about home? And is it more than just a structure we live in? You know, I think home is a lot more about people than it is a place. And so I try to have these thoughtful conversations, and people seem to engage with those and like those. I took a long break. My last couch video was Christmas. I had a hat on. There was a tree behind me, Christmas tree. And I had a few people ask, where are the videos? We're longing for the videos. And I was really touched by that. I'm really appreciative of the viewers who do want to see and hear what I have to provide here. I will say the biggest reason over those months, I got really sick, and it turned in from one thing to the next. Upper respiratory. I tell people I have always had allergies, but they've never been anything compared to the allergies that I've had living in North Carolina. And those allergies turn into one thing and the next for me. So I feel like I had everything except flu and the COVID. The COVID. I love it when people put the in front of things where it doesn't really belong. The Walmart. Or you add an S to the end of it. The Walmarts, the Aldis, the Krogers. Do you do that? But sickness was a thing for a while there. And then also, once you get off the horse, it's hard to get back on the horse. And making videos takes time and work. But lately I've been thinking, this really is a beneficial thing, and I want to get back to it. Maybe you saw my other video earlier this week where I visited a 1910 farmhouse in Reedsville, North Carolina. That house is still for sale, to my knowledge. You can certainly use my video to learn more about the property, what's available there. I didn't go super in depth, but I talked about the house, and I talked about in general what it's like to buy or live in an old home. I want to do more of those, and I want to do more of these. The whole goal for my business, I have got to get in the front of people's minds as a real estate agent. Also, side note, you can see in my glasses these rings of light, and I keep trying to turn so that they're not as distracting. They might not have distracted you at all, but they're driving me nuts. We can do that, I suppose. What else has happened over the past few months? My grandmother, Nan, turned 99 years old. And not a lot of people do that. So I thought it was worth giving some attention to. Turning 99, she is still sharp. She is still very much with it. Physically, she's slowed way down. Way down. But mentally, she's still kicking high. I had several visits with her over the Easter week. And we talked about all sorts of different things, and we still feel very blessed to have Nan with us. At 99, I thought I should send her something a little funny with her birthday card. And so I sent her a large fake $100 bill. And then on the back of it, I wrote, if you were turning 100, this would be real. So if she makes it to 100 next year, I guess I'll have to own up. I'll have to live up to that promise and give her a real one. But yeah, Nan is 99. Her sister Cricket, I think she's 95 and will turn 96 at the end of this year. I may have gotten that wrong. She's turning 95 at the end of this year. Either way, she's in her mid-late 90s as well. Those Hazelet women just keep on trucking. What else is new? A year ago, I started the videos. A year ago, do you remember me telling a story about going to Georgia to see Flannery O'Connor's house? Well, that would have been March 25th. And we've just passed the month of March, and Flannery O'Connor turned 101. So it's been a year. Another thing that's been a year, I don't know that I've kept this a secret, but I did not broadcast it on the videos. And now I'm going to talk about it for just a second. A year ago, in April, I started hosting some dinners. And I call it Thursday night dinner because it's dinner on Thursday night. Here's the backstory. When I lived in Pennsylvania, I was invited to a dinner once at a couple's home in Westchester, Pennsylvania. I don't even remember who invited me. I do remember wondering, why am I being invited? When I think of dinner, I think of a certain group of people around a certain table with a certain meal. This was not that. Whoever invited me said, oh, it's community dinner, and it's at so-and-so's house, and you'll love it. Just show up. And I did show up, and I did love it. I took some other people a different time that I went, and as I learned more about it, I really didn't go a whole lot. My time in Pennsylvania was drawing to a close about that time. But the dinners were every week. They were open to anyone. They were free. And it had begun as a discipleship sort of venture between the two homeowners and I believe another couple. And it bloomed into this larger community event to where you have Christians and non-Christians, rich and poor, old and young, married and single, college professors, college students, and it's very organic. People would come and there would be a certain thing for dinner. If you like it, you eat it. If you don't like it, you don't. And over in this pocket, there's a little conversation going on. Over here by the piano, there's another conversation going on. That came to mind last year, 2025, in the winter, and I couldn't get it off my mind. Probably February, I think I saw something online about a man in Louisiana who had done the same thing. Only it wasn't, I don't think it was really for a ministry purpose or some sort of Christian outreach. It was just, he wanted to invite people to eat with him in his home. And so he said, I will provide red beans and rice every single Monday night. And if you come, this is what we have to eat. I felt kind of burdened to do this sort of thing and talked to my mom about it. And she said, if you can't get it off of your mind, that's the Lord. And I think she was right. I think she was right about that. So in April of last year, I hosted the first one. And I can happily say that now, April 2026, they're still going. Still doing Thursday night dinners. And it's not exactly like the other dinners that I have just told you about. My dinners, for a long time, they were between 12 and 20 people on a Thursday night. Now numbers have shifted a little bit. I think I have closer to 8 to 12 probably on a Thursday. People can bring something to eat if they want. They don't have to. I have a little jar on the piano. People can throw some cash in, or you can send Venmo money or Apple Cash. I've got friends in Virginia who have never attended a Thursday dinner, and they said, you're doing ministry. We want to support that. And so they sent me cash multiple times to sponsor a dinner. Here's the way I shaped it as I invited people. When I was little, we would go to Nan and Papa's house every Sunday. And there was no dress code. We were not expected to bring a dish. We were not expected to pay for anything. It was where you belong every week. And I think fewer and fewer people have that nowadays. When I started Thursday dinners here in my house, I gave that as a shape, as a model for what we're trying to do here. I always want people to feel free to invite others. I cannot be a restaurant. So if you have a certain dietary restriction, I'm not promising that I can accommodate those. But the people who have come, we've shaped a little core group of people, old and young, rich and poor, educated differently, different vocations. I will say, I think everyone who comes is Christian, affiliated with some church, but not the same church. And it has been a community building event. I've invited people who have not come at all, and that's fine. I pray every week, Lord, send the people you want to be here, and the ones you don't want, don't bring them. Why am I telling you this? I mean, I'm not necessarily opening up the door for everyone to come to Thursday dinner. I'm saying maybe you should host a Thursday dinner in your home, where you live. I can tell you people are starved for fellowship. And I have a buddy who told me at our church, he said, we're very blessed. We have these fold-up tables and fold-up chairs and chafing dishes. And he said, when we host a fellowship at church, it's probably catered food. It's probably a table of 8 people who already know each other sitting together, talking about the things they already talk about. And we're thankful for that. But he said, we need people to get together with people they don't know, in spaces they're not familiar with, eating foods that aren't the norm. That's how I've tried to shape Thursday dinner. And I think we need more of that. I can tell you after a year, it's not easy. I cook every week. There have been 3 Thursdays, out of all the dinners we've done, 3 Thursdays where other people provided the food, pizza or everybody bring a potluck, that sort of thing. But all of the other Thursdays I've cooked. And it's, if God's called you to do it, you can do it. If God's not calling you to do it, then you'll hate it. But I close with this. It's this example, Thursday night dinner. I was hesitant, I was cautious because the house is not very big. My entire house is 940 square feet. We don't have great parking on my street. I don't have a lot of money. You can make a list a mile long of reasons not to do something. But if God's called you to do it, you need to do it. And so I'll say this. A year of Thursday dinners has been a great blessing. I've met people I would not have met otherwise. The youngest in this house has been 19, and the oldest, I believe, has been 84. I have heard stories. I've received advice. I have gotten to feed people, and I love to cook. I love to feed people. And I think you may be called to do something similar where you are. If you're waiting for your house to be perfectly clean, it never will be. If you're afraid that people are going to nitpick things about your house, they won't. They won't. And if they do, they probably shouldn't come anyhow. So those are the big things that have been going on in my life. Nan turning 99. I was sick for a while. But I've hosted a dinner for a year, Thursday nights. I've modeled this YouTube channel, Mr. Robert's Neighborhood, thinking about Fred Rogers and what he meant to generations of children and families. He used the word neighbor or the word neighborhood a lot. And I want to be a good neighbor. I want to love my neighbor. I want to serve my neighbor. Do you have thoughts on that? I told you in the beginning, I want these to feel like conversations. Have you thought about how you're being a neighbor? Don't think about how so-and-so's been a bad neighbor to you. Think about what kind of a neighbor you've been to them. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.